our first thought, I think, occurs to us in Portugal, not only University of Coimbra, but also on University of Beira Interior, that is other university in Portugal. And we join efforts in trying to develop the new measure that actually help us to better assess with a standardized measure this kind of environmental factors information linked to sleep hygiene, because until now we only have like general sleep hygiene measures and that don't focus on these environmental factors. But we know that when we receive people in the clinical with sleep problems, one of the first things that we have done, for example, for insomnia problems and other type of sleep problems, actually is focus on what we can change in sleep hygiene and sleep continuity schedules. So actually look at it. For example, we fix the hour in which they get up in the morning, so for them to regulate sleep better. So we try to figure out if they control these type of factors, the temperature, if it is okay in the room, if they sleep, for example, it's very common, for example, older adults, they sleep with the heat turned on during the night because they think it's cold, and it's cold outside, but you need, I think the science says 18 to 19 degrees in the area. But what we wanted to do is develop this type of measures. So type of measures that give us per domain, what is the score of the person, if they control or not these factors at home, and looking at which is the main factors that we have to go through in the interview to begin with. So we start developing these scales. We have two scales inside of this measure. One is linked to these control factors. You have, like, for example, the use of electronic devices. You have the exposure to light, noise, temperature, and comfort. And you have several items in which the people perception says, oh, between 0 and 9, tell me if your clothes that you use at your bed are adequate or too cold or too hot. So he has to position himself there, and then you have a score for each one of these domains. And then you have other scale in which we ask the person if they think that these environmental factors actually are linked to their sleep problems in the past month. Because it's very important to know that some people, especially older people, passes long time with their habits. Some of them sleep, for example, with a presence light in the room, and they are used to. If you go and you see, oh, but you can not use the presence light. I use it for 50 years. So if we sleep well, our brain adapts, so it's okay. But if it is to change, and we know, oh, you sleep with 25 degrees in the room, that's too much. Because then you have also bigger clothes for the winter, and then we have to change. But we have to change if it is a problem for the person. Because if it is not a problem, recognize it, and then you can actually see that, oh, she has problems with noise, but it's not a problem for her. So let's explore this better in the consult. But the idea is that the person can actually fill out that digitally. We just developed the paper, so the online version, but then we want to construct an app that is actually easiest to get a score before the consult. So people can actually, this person waiting for the consult can actually fill out these questionnaires. It's already common in sleep medicine. So usually they fill out, for example, the Epworth sleepiness scale and other type of scales to give the information to the clinician. In this case, about this, because this is something that we want always to know about, and we didn't have any measure that is more stratified to give us information that is of more quality and more organized. I think this was the main rationale for developing this measure. We only study until now general population. In the past 2 years, we conducted 2 studies. So we developed the measure. So in the psychometrics, usually you follow several steps in developing the measure. For example, we involved both university professors and clinicians from the hospital in developing the scale, so for their content validity. And then we also asked general population to respond, population with sleep problems to respond, to look at face validity, if they understand the instruction, if the items are clean, if the response sequence is understandable. And then we conduct a pilot study first with general population, and then a small pilot study with 200 people. And now we conduct a second study to initially validate this scale. So with using other scales. So what we found until now is that the people on general population, at least in Portugal, adults between 18 and 19 years old, so between young adults and older adults, we found that in this general population, the temperature is the one that they control most. Probably they are more relatable to temperature, is easiest to see. So actually they control the temperature well, but they don't control well the exposure to noise sometimes, even if most of the time, because it's outside the houses and we don't have good isolations in our homes in Portugal, mostly, and also electronic devices. So we found that also now in older adults, so they use it even in the bed. So not only the TV, so the computer with YouTube and other things. So because we have also a quantitative measures, but also some open questions to try to see how they use, because we are developing this measure. And we find that actually these two scales are separate. So the first scale is more linked to sleep hygiene, the other more linked to quality of sleep, sleep problems, more linked to that because it's related to fatigue, to sleepiness, to cognitive failures, and to quality of sleep measures and insomnia complaints. So actually there are two separate scales, but in the same measure, because they always are all linked to environmental factors that we think that is very important for us to engage and to study in the future.